We are in the middle of our third week of the program, so join me today on day 8 as we push our glutes and core a little further than last time. And welcome back to day 8 of the program. Welcome back to another workout. My name's Frank, you know me by now, and we're just gonna be pushing this workout a little further than last time. Like I said, in the middle of each week of the program, we have it dedicated to our whole glutes, core, and our hip mobility. So we're gonna get all into that today. We've got 20 moves. Each move is 45 seconds long with a 15-second rest break in between. So with that being said, let's get into today's workout. Let's get our water bottles, let's get hydrated, and let's smash it. All right, 15 seconds on the clock, here we go, and let's get hydrated. All right, first move, quadruped, straight leg, side lateral kick. So, onto our hands and knees, foot out to the side, we are pulsing up and down. So by now, as we're in our third week, we should have some more range of motion and a little bit more mobility. So we're keeping this leg as straight as possible. We're lifting it right up to the side. This one is gonna test your mobility a little bit. You may only be able to come up inches off the ground, that's fine. But try and raise that leg up as high as you can, tap it back down, and we're gonna pulse. We have a straight leg, lateral kick. Again, trying to raise this up as high as we can. This is really gonna push our glutes. We're gonna feel our hips. And as always, we're gonna feel our abs a lot too. So anytime we're working glutes and legs, especially on a single side, we're gonna feel that side working a lot. All right, we'll take a breather for a second. I'll show you this other angle. So we're gonna do the exact same thing onto our hands and knees, and then we're just gonna do it on the opposite side. So, hands and knees, we're gonna bring one foot out to the side, and we're just moving it up. Boom, up and down. Straight leg, side lateral kicks. Now with my hands, you may center them up around the knee. You can still try and bring that hand in line with that thigh there, but we're just pulsing up and down. And again, as you can see, I always try and keep my toe down, bringing my heel up. And that's just gonna help me accentuate the glute, because anytime my toe is up, right, it's gonna work the hip flexors a little bit. You're still gonna feel the hips, but definitely trying to work that glute. Just kicking that leg up and down, very small movement. I'm feeling my obliques, my lower lats even, and feeling my abs working. Nice kicks, pulsing up and down. Good control, nice squeezes. All right, moving on to our second move. We got our fire hydrant kick. So now we're basically gonna be taking a fire hydrant and just adding a kick to it. So we're on all fours, quadruped position here. Wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Fire hydrant, kicking it out, bringing that knee down, boom. So we got a fire hydrant with a kick now, adding to it. Get nice kicks. Again, every single time I kick, I wanna exhale. I wanna pull that air out of the lungs, get a nice deep squeeze and a big contraction. Focus on squeezing my abs. Naturally, you're gonna feel the glutes, so you don't even have to think about it. But I'm bringing them in knees up and out, nice kicks, out to the side. Good squeezes, moving through it. We're almost there, 5 seconds. Whew. All right. And we're gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. So fire hydrant, side lateral kick. I'll show you from this position here. We're gonna work that other leg. So week 3, we should definitely be feeling by now. We're adding on to a lot of the moves we did in the beginning. As you remember, we did the fire hydrants, we did fire hydrant pulses, and now in week 3, we got fire hydrant kicks. Working the glutes just a little harder than last time. Like I said, every single workout you do want to try and push it a little bit further. And sometimes you might be feeling a little beat up, you might need a day off. Do a little mobility, do a little stretching, but bringing these knees up, nice kicks, working the glutes, feeling those hips, feeling the arms as I'm down onto my knuckles here. I'm feeling my shoulders working, just keeping myself stable, got my abs going. I'm even feeling that other glute working. Whew. All right. Next, we're gonna do an inverted palm cat-cow. So kind of all roads lead to this. We did a cat-cow in the beginning, and now we're gonna do inverted palm. So kind of go easy with it. We're just gonna keep this palms upside down, okay? And then from here, cat-cow. So cat, head up, arch, cow, moo. We're rounding. But the whole time I'm trying to keep my hands upside down. If you can't, you might even get your fingertips a little bit. You may even bring them out to the side. Again, if you can't even do any of that, that's fine. Just right here, cow and cat, head up and back down. But again, inverted palm, let's try and see if we can keep our hands upside down. You may have to lean forward a little bit. Come in here, come in here. Right, if you can, push the hips and the head back a little bit. And this is really gonna stretch the palms, stretch the forearms. And it's gonna get some more flexibility into your wrist. Whew. And if your wrists are ever feeling a little tight, you can go ahead and just kind of circle them out a little bit. So I'll do that sometimes. But next we got a thoracic spine rotation with an arm reach. So T-spine rotation, as some people may call it. We're here, we're down onto the ground, bringing that elbow towards the knee, raising, and then reaching, and then back down. Coming up to the side, reaching the hand, then placing it back onto the head. So again, the first time we did it, we just did a T-spine rotation like that, but now, right here, and then you're trying to reach that arm up and then bring it back down before you come back down again. So thoracic spine, again, which is the middle of our spine, and we're opening, reaching and twisting a little bit more if we can, and back down. Again, we're really trying to open up our back, getting loose, opening up the backs of our shoulders. This is even working the shoulders and our arms, just by getting that little move there. So we'll relax for just a second, and then we're gonna switch and go onto the opposite side. The thoracic spine rotation is really good because sometimes we get pretty stiff. We're sitting down, you know, working throughout the day, backs get tight. This is gonna help loosen us up. So hands down, coming down here, rotating and reaching all the way up. So you might have one side that's a little bit more flexible, a little bit looser, and that's okay. I feel a little bit looser on this right side, just kind of coming opening. So rotating up with my elbow as far as it can go, then getting the hand out and reaching, and then placing it back and coming down again. So using the elbow, opening up, shoulder, arm, head looking, hand back onto the back of the head, coming back down. Let's get one more. Open it up, reaching, extending, and back down. Woo, getting loose. So we're gonna do some glute kickbacks, and we're gonna do that on the opposite side. So we've done these before. Again, we're back down onto the ground, kicking the glutes. So really wanna try and get a deep squeeze here. So let's kick back and squeeze. We're on week 3, so let's put some oomph into it. Let's really work and squeeze our glutes here. Focus on that contraction. So again, as I kick my leg back, you can see I point that toe out a little bit. When I do that, oh man, I get a deep, hard squeeze right in my butt. So I wanna just kick back. Again, I'm kicking the foot back and then I'm going up. I'm not just like extending straight, which you could, but when you kick it up and back a little bit, you really get that squeeze. Remember, keep that stomach pulled in and watch, don't overarch. Keep that back flat as you can. Get a nice squeeze, nice control. Again, if your wrists are getting tight, you can drop that knuckle down, get a good squeeze into the glute. Whew, a little burn. All right, and we're gonna switch and we're gonna hit the other side. So remember, with all these movements, work on that mind muscle contraction, that connection. Really feel what you're doing. You wanna be a master contractor. I say this all the time. Feel the muscles that you're working, give it all you got, get a nice squeeze. So we're kicking back, boom, moving through it. Kicking that leg back, squeezing those glutes. Nice contraction, working hard. Again, nothing works hard unless you do, right? So kicking it back, bringing that knee in, exhale to top, nice squeeze. Again, I may have a little tilt in the spine and into the back, that's okay, but again, I wanna keep it as flat as I can, and I wanna feel the top of my glute I want to feel that very hard contraction. Every single time I kick back, I'm squeezing as hard as possible. Nice deep squeeze into the butt. Oh, all right. Next, we're gonna lie down flat onto our back. And then we have a star crunch, knee to chest pull. So with this one, we're gonna go out all wide, all right? Bringing everything out wide, and then we're bringing it in. Pull the knees to the chest, bring it back out. Exhale, pull. Inhale, breathe in. If you have to, you can tap the heels back down, that's fine. We're bringing back out in a star position. Pulling the knees to the chest, but if you can, try and bring those legs all the way out and then reaching and pulling. If you can't and this is all you got, that's okay. You can do a 90-degree version. Bringing the arms out, keeping the legs at 90, but let's give it our all. So knees in, kicking the legs all the way out wide, opening everything out. If you have to keep your head down, that's fine. If you feel some pressure in your neck, you can keep it here. But if you want to really get that crunch, sit up with it just a little bit. So next, we got our side plank hip lifts, and we're gonna do the opposite side. We are really getting into it because you know what? We've never not used our knees, okay? So this is a little bit of a regress version. So we're gonna drop the hips, raise the hips, drop the hips, raise the hips. As you can see, I'm not on my knees. I'm doing the hip lift. Now, if you have to, you can use the knee and you can do a side plank knee hip lift, okay? But I want you to try and stay onto the side. Keep that hip up for as long as possible, moving down and up. I'm dropping the hips, I'm raising them up. My shoulder is directly over the top of the elbow. If you're fatiguing, drop the knee, okay? Hip lift, still finish the move, finish strong. Use that hand into the front if you have to. But again, try and keep those hips up, down and up, all right? Get those hip lifts, work those obliques. Whew. All right, and we're gonna go back into the other side. Like I said, I wanna try and show you as many different options as possible because I know a lot of times we do some things and, oh, it's too hard or maybe it's too easy. So I wanna show you the variations. So again, we're in this side plank position, all right? And we're dropping the hips, raising the hips. Again, trying to keep that head and neck neutral because it gets very easy when you're doing this move to like bend your neck in all sorts of positions. So again, we're moving down and up, dropping the hips, feet. I like to keep them in that staggered position. Again, you could keep them on top of each other and bringing it down and up, which works too. If you have to, like I said, you can drop that knee and then side plank and hip lift and use your knee. If you have to use your hand, use your hand. But if you have the energy, let's see if we can keep those knees off the ground and just thrust those hips up and work it, because that's how we're gonna push a little bit harder. So next we're gonna do a glute bridge hold, and then we're gonna get into the glute march, a little variation on the glute march. So we'll start off. We have a glute bridge hold, and right here, boom, thrust. Nothing to it but to do it right here. Squeeze the glutes. I'm just holding this position. Again, you can play around with your feet position if you wanna bring them back a little bit and thrust up and squeeze, or bring them forward. There's really not too much of a wrong or a right way, other than generally I like to have the knees or the heels of the feet underneath the knees, but you can play around with the position wherever you feel that glute contract the hardest. So keep those hips up high, shoulder blades down, and I'm just clenching my butt cheeks right now. That's it, I'm holding it, keeping a nice squeeze. We got this isometric contraction here, which is basically a contraction without movement. So we're just holding it, keeping it tense the whole time, keeping it working. Boom, all right. So next we got a glute march with an opposite hand to leg reach, all right? So a little flare this time. So we're gonna get into that glute bridge hold position. And then instead of just marching, well, we're gonna march and then kick. And we're trying to reach that hand up. So we're trying to keep the hips in this bridge position, and we're kicking. So we got the glute march, the hips are up high, and then reaching for the leg. If you can't reach all the way and you could just tap the thigh, that's okay, right? Because traditional glute march, we're right here, right? Shoulder blades are down, and we're marching side to side. But if we got it, let's see if we can reach for it a little bit. Keeping those hips up as best we can, reaching for the leg or for the thigh, because these little reaches is gonna work our abs a little bit. All right, just try and keep the hips up, cross, and touch. All right, whew, moving through. I'm gonna get a little sip of water because, you know, I gotta stay hydrated. I'm gonna do some V-ups. V-ups, hands are back, knees to chest. Exhale. And I'm bringing it back and forth. It's kind of like a modified reverse crunch. It's like a reverse crunch that we're sitting up. So we're bringing our knees into our chest. If you want to point your toes out, go for it. Again, there's really no, like I said, right or wrong position. As you go through your training career, you want to have varied angles at different resistances with different ranges of motion. So I'll play around with the feet position. I might even bring them out a little and tap, but for the purpose of this move, just keep them in close. We're going back and forth. Our abs should be burning now. Nice exhale and squeeze at the end. Nice contraction. Woo! Abs on fire. All right, so next we got our knee to chest pulls, and then we're gonna do the opposite side. So we're flat down onto the back, and we're gonna go at these at a little bit of a faster pace. So we're gonna pull the knees into the chest. Again, if we wanna keep it basic, boom, we're right here, right? Knee to chest pull, keeping the other leg down. All right, we wanna step it up a little bit, add a little bit of a sit up to it. See, my other leg is still down. That's a variation there. If you're ready, keep that leg into the air, and then boom. And then this turns into a full blown out ab workout. It's a knee to chest pull that's generally a little bit of mobility, but it's really getting abs. If you're dying, drop that leg. You could drop the upper back and just pull the knees into the chest. But if you want to sit up with each rep, if you can, and like I said, hover that leg, this will really get your abs working hard. Whew. So again, we're loosening up our hips. We're working a lot of abs depending on what you do here. So like I said, if you want, keep the legs down, and then your bottom leg or your back, the other leg, keep it down, pull the other knee into the chest. So we're gonna come here, boom. We're gonna start off basic. Head down, and we're just using that one side, pulling that knee into the chest. Like I said, we wanna pick it up a little bit. Let's crunch with it, boom. Crunching with it, pulling the knee into the chest. We're opening up those hips, increasing that range of motion a little bit. If you're feeling strong, keep that other leg into the air. Stay seated up. You can even reach the hands back every time. This gets really hard. It would be a little bit more advanced, but we can keep it basic. Keep that other leg down, reaching and pulling the knee into the chest. Woo! All right, rock and roll. So getting through it, next we're gonna come up. We got a squat with our overhead arm reach hold. So we haven't done this one yet, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna just squat up and down, and then the whole time we got our arms reaching overhead. So let's get squat position, arms reaching, and just hold those arms there. And we're gonna squat, down and up. So this is where we're gonna test a lot of our mobility, and we might see some movement imbalances here. So again, I'll show you from the side. I'm trying to keep the arms up. Now again, I'm not perfect, and nor do I claim to be perfect, but I try and do the best I can. So you can see I'm trying to keep the arms up, but there is a little bit of a forward lean. Ideally, I want my arms as straight as possible when I sit into this movement. As I'm coming up, squeezing the glutes, keeping the legs just 3/4 bent. We're moving down and up. Nice squats, keeping those arms up. Woof. That's gonna burn those shoulders a little bit. So next we have the single leg balance, hip swing with a pulse. This is really gonna test our balance here, okay? So we're swinging the legs out side to side and adding a little extra pulse in. So let's check it out, let's try it. Toe in, heel out, all right? Get our balance, kick, pulse, back down. Kick, pulse, back down. Like I said, you can use your hands out a little bit, getting that pulse. We got our hips swing. If we need to, we can bring that leg back down. If you're feeling great, try and keep it up in the air the whole time, and then try and get the pulse. So try not to let that leg come all the way down. and just pulse up into the top. One kick, one pulse up. And if you can only pulse at the bottom, you can go here and just hit the bottom impulse. That's a little easier, but the top end, oh, that's where you make your money. All right, almost there. Finish strong. We got our other leg, and that's it for this one. So again, putting all that weight in one leg. Now you're gonna feel that glute a little bit more since we just worked that other side. Whew. So let's balance. Here we go. Let's finish strong. All right, right here. Boom. Bringing that leg up. And let's add the pulse too. Let's not forget that. So raising that leg up, nice pulse and squeeze at the top. Like I said, bring the leg down if you have to. Only go up as high as you can. If this is all the range of motion you have here, that's fine. Get a little pulse with it. But if you can go a little higher, go for it. And if you can, stay balanced. As you can see, my other leg is working like crazy. Stay balanced here. I've been training for a long time, and I always include balance in a lot of my drills because I used to skate a lot. Inline skating and skateboarding is part of my stuff I love to do for fun, and balance is so important for that. Whew, we made it. Awesome job. All right, thank you so much for completing another workout with me on day 8. You've made it so far. You're in the middle of our 3rd week of the program. Congratulations. And just know this stuff is difficult, okay? When you're giving it your all, you're gonna be challenged a lot. And I know this whole workout program is probably something like you haven't seen before, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to give you a program that was different from anything else. And I wanted to have a nice foundation. Now, yes, some of the moves here we were getting into today were starting to get challenging, but guess what? If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you, right? So we need to make sure that we're pushing it and we're doing different things and we're working ourselves in a different way, okay? And you know, to help you stay on track, make sure you talk with other people in your realm of influence, in your sphere of friends. Make sure that you have a good support system, because guess what? Unfortunately, some people may try and bring you down. There's gonna be haters, and that's okay. You just gotta tune out all the noise, focus on you, focus on being strong, focus on your nutrition, your mobility, your hydration, your sleep. There's a lot that comes into this. And I know you can get stressed out just thinking about all this, but keep me as your coach in your corner, and I'm gonna make sure you're as successful as possible. So again, thanks so much for tuning in. My name's Frank, and I can't wait to see you in the next workout.